was trying to see who could make the straightest track on a snowy field. And only one of them succeeded in making a path that was perfectly straight. And when he was asked why he could manage to do it, he said, "It was easy. I just kept my eyes fixed on the lightning rod on the top of the house at the end of the field, while the other guys, kept looking at their feet." The lesson of the story is, if you want to have a straight journey, keep looking at what is above. And somehow you can apply the same lesson when driving your car. If you keep your eyes ahead, you will drive straight. Today's 3 readings focus on the idea of looking up. Looking up at the heaven in order to see and to understand the promise on the earth. Looking up to heaven to better our relationship on earth. Looking up to heaven in order to endure our suffering on earth. In the first reading, God asked Abram to go out, to look up at the stars and count them. His descendants will be as numerous as stars. From a human point of view, it is not possible. Abram was old. His wife Sarah was old as well, and they were childless. But from the heavenly understanding, it is possible. God will realize His own promise. With the help of God, Sarah will cease to be a barren woman, and Abraham will be the father of a multitude. In the second reading, the Apostle Paul tells us that our citizenship is in heaven. Baptism is our birthright. Baptism is our birthright, and no one can take it from us. And if we understand that our citizenship is in heaven, we can change our way of being here on earth. From a heavenly perspective, we are created in the image of God. And here on earth, because of that understanding, we need to treat one another with respect, because all of us are created in the image of God. We, the Assumptionists, have our rule of life, our law, and one number 4 says, the Assumptionists are called to go wherever God is threatened in man, and man threatened as the image of God. We are called to go wherever God is threatened in man, and man threatened as the image of God. God is threatened wherever a human being is rejected. God is present whenever a human being, a single human being, is mistreated. On the other hand, the glory of God is man fully alive. The glory of God is man fully alive. A saying attributed to Saint Irenaeus. And in the Gospel, Jesus took Peter, John, and James up to the mountain to pray. And during his prayer on the mountaintop, that was a glorious moment not only for Jesus, but also for Moses and for Elijah. So Moses is the giver of the law, and Elijah is the greatest of the prophets. And both of them appears in glory. Luke, the gospel that we have heard, Luke is the only one who mentions the glorious appearance of Moses and of Elijah. And later on in the same gospel, Jesus is in glory. And so Moses and Elijah are participating in the same glory. As for us, if we listen to the chosen Son of God, we are going to share in the same glory. This glory is the horizon of our hope. This glory is our future. There is another thing that is important in today's gospel is Luke is the one who mentions the content of the conversation between Jesus and Moses and Elijah. They were talking about Jesus' exodus. Jesus' exodus, that means his death and resurrection. Indeed, Jesus is going to inaugurate a new exodus. It is a new exodus because it is different from the old one, from the deliverance of the people of Israel out of Egypt. But there is something in common between the new one and the old one. Like the people of Israel in the past, the disciples are not ready to accept, a nut of salvation, accept Exodus as a nut of salvation, because it is marked by violence and cruelty. Like the disciples, like the people in the past, the people of Israel in the past, the disciples think about trials as a nut of abandonment by God. But beyond this misunderstanding, Jesus himself is going to inaugurate a new Exodus. He is going to do it in Jerusalem, and he is going to ask the disciples to continue until the end of the earth. And we are part of that Exodus. As we continue our Lenten journey, let us look up to heaven in order to better our life on earth. Let the eternal break through our time and space. God is present whenever a human being is rejected, is maltreated. And in this regard, our Christianity is only at its beginning. Christianity is only at its beginning, not only for Adam, but for all of us. The glory of God is not fully manifested if a human being, a single human being, is rejected. And so a new Exodus is needed for all of us. It is an ongoing conversion for us. We need to find a new way of being, a new way of being church. And Pope Francis gives us a very important understanding of it. He said that we are called to go forth our comfort zone in order to reach out to the peripheries in need of the light of the gospel. We are to go out. The church needs to go out in order to realize a mission. With God, if we look up, we can go very far. With God, if we are humble enough to bend down to take care of life, we go very high. We go very high when we are able to take care of life, of every single life.